Hello, white people. I have an article from CNBC.com. Almost 40% of the world's countries will witness civil unrest in 2020, research claims. Okay, research claims. Nearly 40% of the world's 195 countries will see civil unrest during 2020, according to Verisk Maplecroft. Risk of backlash by security forces is deemed high in countries such as Russia, Saudi Arabia, and China. See, I told you, China. Corporations will be under increased pressure to avoid getting tangled up in this new normal. Protesters march on a street during a rally against the extradition law proposed on June 9, 2019 in Hong Kong, China. Hundreds of thousands of protesters marched in Hong Kong on Sunday against a controversial extradition bill that would allow suspect criminals to be sent to mainland China for trial. Almost a quarter of the world's countries witnessed a surge in protest and unrest the last year, and that figure is set to rise further in 2020, according to a new study. There are 195 countries in the world if the Vatican and Palestine are included, and a newly released index of civil unrest has claimed that 47 of those states witnessed a rise in civil unrest in 2019. The data model published Thursday by socio-economic and political analysis firm Verisk Maplecroft, I've never heard of them, has also predicted that in 2020 the number will balloon to 75 countries. Well, that makes me think that the CIA is going to start civil unrest. The CIA is behind a lot of this civil unrest. People want peaceful resolution to problems. The UK consultancy identified Hong Kong and Chile as the two flashpoints suffering the largest increase in unrest since the beginning of 2019. Neither country is expected to find peace for at least 2 years, according to the research. God. It sounds like it's set up, doesn't it? Shiite Muslim rebels hold up their weapons during a rally against airstrikes in Sana'a, March 26, 2015. What country was that? Is that in Iran? Other areas now considered hotbeds of civil protest include Nigeria, Lebanon, and Bolivia. Beyond these three countries dropping into a category labeled extreme risk include Ethiopia, India, Pakistan, and Zimbabwe. Since the previous index release, Sudan has overtaken Yemen to become the highest risk country globally. Sudan has been locked in crisis since ruler Omar al-Bashir was overthrown in April. The country has been beset by protests and killings as military forces battle pro-democracy supporters to control the country. Conflict in Yemen has been raging since 2015 as Shia and Sunni Muslim forces wrestle for power. It's not just Shia and Sunni. It has to do with the Muslim tribe that wants to be in power, because the way it works with Muslims is they all join together and hate against other or non-Muslims, and then once they get rid of all the non-Muslims, then they start infighting and go by their tribal hierarchy. They think that they're so virtuous. They're not. No flash in the pan. Maplecroft's predictions for 2020 are bleak, with both the number of countries witnessing protest and the intensity of unrest tipped to rise. The index predicts... I can't stop laughing when I see this predicts business, because it's the CIA. We are planning, these troublemakers are planning that 75 out of the 125 countries examined will see a deterioration in stability. That figure means almost 40% of all the world's 195 nations will witness disruption and protest to some degree. While the likes of Ukraine, Guinea, Bissau, and Tajikistan are forecast to experience the biggest rises in unrest, it is larger countries that could prompt the most concern. The analysis cross-references predicted rise in unrest alongside the danger that protesters will suffer human rights abuses or sharp responses from security forces. Countries identified in this troubling bracket include the highly influential nations of Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Thailand, and Brazil. The UK-based analysts claim that as 2019 is unlikely to be a flash in the pan, companies and investors will have to adapt to increased unrest. Oh, really? Huh. Okay, so what does that have to do with the stock market? If you're not familiar with how the stock market works, it's completely rigged. It went down on Friday 600 points, and then the last I checked, it was up, about 80 points. But, let's see. What time did they close? I don't remember. They open at 6:30. I think they close at 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Anyway, Maplecroft, that's the name of this survey or whatever company, says there will be increased pressure on global firms to exercise corporate responsibility. Ooh, really? Okay, so it means that we're going to be punished for wrongthink, especially those in countries, quote, rich in natural resources where mining and energy projects often need high levels of protection, end quote. Oh, okay, so that means in third world countries where there's a lot of high-value natural resources, gold, cadmium, that kind of thing, there's going to be just greedy people killing off the natives there. That's going to be really sad. That is sad. It makes me angry. However, companies are at substantial danger of complicity if they employ state or private security forces that perpetrate violations, that the report added. All right, white people, that's the damage for today. Thank you so much for listening.